You have found yourself on Locked On Bulls. I'm Haize. That's Pat the designer. On today's episode, we'll be talking about Patrick Williams being assigned to the Windy City Bulls and what that could mean for his return. We'll also be previewing the Suns game and going into the mailbag. All that and more on today's Locked On Bulls.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily podcast on the Chicago Bulls, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for joining Locked On Bulls, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And today we got some great content planned for you guys. Pat the designer's in the building. What's going on, Pat?
What's going on with y'all, man? How's it going? I'm still hurt, but we all right. We moving past it. We gotta figure out some stuff, but we going in the right direction.
Man, being a Bulls fan is like being in an abusive relationship, bro. Like you love them, but they not doing you right now, man. And it's painful. It's
painful. Feel wrong, dog. It do feel wrong. It's just definitely like, I love y'all. Hey, you know what it is? It get hard to defend after a while.
That is true. That is true. Especially when I have a bunch of Knicks fans in my friend circle, but now they've kind of become Brooklyn fans, and they are trying to give me the business in the group chat, bro.
Hey, pick a team and stick with it. That's what I say.
Definitely. Well, we got some more positive news. Seems like we keep getting positive news about Patrick Williams. The next time, it may be him being available to play in games, but he's going down to an assignment with the Windy City Bulls. But the key update in this one is that with the goal of him returning to the team next week. Now, they did not give a firm date on next week when he'll be returning, but just looking at the schedule, the Bulls have games Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday next week. So plenty of games for him to come back to. Pat, what do you think is going on? What do you think Patrick Williams can get out of being in the Windy City with the Windy City Bulls? And then how soon do you think he's going to be back?
I think it's just hey, let's see if you can dunk on people and is your wrist gonna hurt if you do it? You know what I'm saying? Like you really just want to test that wrist versus people that are going to be smacking at it, people that are going to be, taking swipes at them, doing regular things with them. The impact that P. Will has to me is going to be huge for me defensively. I mean, we talked about it in the last episode where we were talking about. Just kind of his defensive impact being more than his offensive impact. I think you can kind of tell that the Bulls aren't looking for a huge offensive output from P. Will because they're not like, hey, let's ramp up his shooting. We want to see where he's at with it. They just like, listen, do you feel okay? We need somebody that knows how to play the pick and roll because we have nobody on the court that's able to do it consistently. And so to me, like having P. Will back in the lineup for the Bulls is going to do so much for them. It's going to defensively. Because you'll have somebody in there that can disrupt that pick and roll. And I think, listen, it gives you a little more size in the lineup that you need. You love Tristan. You want to see Tristan play, but you also need size off of the bench as well. You can't just have Tristan and Vooch, and then all of a sudden we turn around and it's like, who's left? Oh, Tony's still here, ain't he? So you know what I'm saying? Like, it's one of those where you're getting Pat Will back, you're getting more size back in your lineup, and that does make a difference. That does make an impact, and it's size with good defensive IQ, which is something that the team, you would think the team has. I think they're, and at a minimum, dog, fresh legs. Yep. Somebody that's not tired running around out there, and I think that can make a difference as well.
And I think too, I know they say conditioning, but keep in mind Patrick Williams should have been able to keep his conditioning pretty well. It's been his wrist, no lower body injury. So I don't necessarily think now we know game shape is completely different, right? But with that being said, he should be in shape. It's not like he's had a whole off season of just not doing anything basketball wise. And I also want to see what, they said they had Patrick Williams watching tape. What does the mental aspect of his game looks like now? Is he a little bit smarter of a defender in his second year? Things like that. But one thing too that I agree with everything that you pointed out. But one thing that I do want to point out that we haven't talked about very often is while I don't think they're going to be looking for Patrick Williams to do a lot offensively, I don't expect them to call a bunch of offensive plays for him, if any at all. But Patrick Williams is shown to be a solid three-point shooter, not great, not locked down. And we see those open corner threes that Javonte gets so often by being our four. If Patrick Williams gets those open threes and takes, the thing with Patrick has always been he doesn't take them confidently, right?
Yeah.
If he takes 2 of those to 3 of those a game and can hit them at even a 35% clip, I like what that does to the Bulls offense. And again, this is not to say that I expect anything a huge number of anything from Patrick Williams offensively, but that aspect of it, just that little wrinkle into the Bulls offense and him being a better 3-point shooter than Javonte Green, I really can't wait to see what that looks like on this team.
To me, I think the biggest miss for P. Will this season is that he hasn't been able to play with DeMar DeRozan. What's the one shot that we look at and we like, yo, that's cash if he take it consistently. That mid-range that Pat Will has on him is a beautiful shot. And it's the biggest thing, right? Like, when everybody was complaining about it, he's not aggressive enough. He's not aggressive enough. I went back and looked, and I was like, he passed up 3 shots. The problem is he only got 6 shots in the game. Like, it's not like he's passing up a egregious amount of shots, but when there's only room in the offense for you to take 6, 7 shots, 3 shots is a lot. Now you're going 2 for 4, and now you're going, 3 for 5, which is a big difference. But we don't have those same complaints for Javonte Green because he's not the 4th overall pick.
Yeah.
But in essence, he's getting the same shots that P. Will did. So I think the biggest miss is not being able to have that same effect that DeMar has had on Io for P. Will. I think that would have been huge for P. Will coming into the season, just with his game, just with his length, with his overall skill set. And I think that that's something that if he can take from that and learn kind of how DeMar's doing that and how to incorporate DeMar's game into his game, y'all got to understand, listen, DeMar's here. I'm glad he's here. I'm glad he's balling. DeMar's 33. It's not like we got DeMar for the next 10 years, y'all. So like, I want DeMar's game to rub. I want DeMar's mentality to rub off on Zach LaVine. I want DeMar's gameplay to run off on Patrick Williams and adding that in with the defensive side of the ball. Like, there's a lot here that people can learn from the guys that we brought into the building. And so it's going to be, I think the biggest miss for P. Will is not having learned from that all season on the court. I can't say he hasn't talked with him and learned from him, but on the court. And then now, how's it going to affect him going into the playoffs? Like watching DeMar, watching playoff Zach, watching hopefully if Lonzo's able to come back before the playoffs, watching how that team interacts in the playoffs and just learning and soaking all of that in.
Definitely. And I want to ask a question about minutes, but we actually have a voicemail on that about playoff minutes. So I'm not going to ask that here. We'll talk about it there. But the one thing that I also want to put in and ask you here, Pat, is we know Patrick Williams 6'8", with I think does he have a 7-foot wingspan, or am I making that up? I know he has a huge wingspan.
Hey, listen, the Googles always know, so go ahead and ask the question and I'll find out the answer.
Cool. But with that being said, like, will Patrick Williams see some minutes at small ball center? We've seen Derrick Jones Jr. play that. We've seen a few players
7-foot wingspan.
Yeah, see, I thought so. 7-foot wingspan. Do we see Patrick Williams play some backup center, and what do you think that does? Again, we have Tristan now, so the question may be null and void, but do you think we see that at all?
I mean, I think when you're talking about a small ball lineup now, you're probably going to see Tristan in that. But it's because of the length that you can do. Like, you're going to see P. Will playing in that a defensive lineup more times than not, even coming off of the bench. Like, you might even see P. Will. I think the interesting thing will be to see him in at the 3 when you want to go for a little bit bigger lineup. Maybe you get Tristan, P. Will, and Vooch on the floor at the same time, and they can still generate some offense with Zach and Lonzo or Zach and Io either way. But I think what you're going to see is when they want to go with that defensive lineup, we're going to see a lineup that's Io DeSumo, Lonzo Ball possibly, Patrick Williams at the 3, Tristan Thompson, Derrick Jones Jr. You're going to see a ton of length on the floor. I don't know if he'll be the backup center in a lineup like that, but I think that just having that length on the floor and that defensive intensity that legitimately, now you're talking about 5 people that are like, no, I'm gonna stop you from getting past me. Like, that's an entirely different thing going into the playoffs, and you need lineups like that. Is there a lineup where that works in a with P. Will at the center? Yeah, maybe there's a lineup where P. Will does play center. You put Javonte in that spot, but guess what? You've still got that defensive intensity, though. That's gonna, like, it's crazy to think of the team we had versus the team that we became. Like, there's legitimately 6 defenders on this team that are really good defenders now, and you can run that out there, and hopefully we're gonna see the effects of that sooner than later. But it's just interesting to see, like, how different this team is based on when we were the top 5 defense that we were.
Yeah, definitely, and I can't wait to see what Patrick Williams and how he contributes to that defense and helps us, get on a better path there.
Yeah.
But we got something else to talk to you guys about. We're about to get into a preview of the Phoenix Suns game, but before we do that, I got to talk to you guys about Bet Online. Now, as we know, now, we're not talking about college. This is March Madness, right? To what Pat said last time, this is March Madness. It's finally here. I've been watching basketball all day. I'm hyped. But Bet Online got some key things for you guys. For all the latest odds, totals, player performance props, to where the next fired head coach is going to land, Bet Online is the #1 source for all your sports betting needs. Head to the website and use your mobile device to learn more about the action. Bet Online, where the game starts. Listen, Pat, I don't know about you, but I want to bet on how many points Patrick Williams scores on his return. I want to do that, right? Because it could be huge, right? I want to bet. When's the next time Io DeSumo is going to get another double-double? I want to see all that. I want to bet on that as well. Bet Online is the place to go for that. So make sure you go to betonline.net today and start your betting needs. Let's go ahead and move on. Pat, Phoenix Suns. We're going into, I almost said they're coming into town. We're going to Phoenix. Yeah, it's been a tough week so far. Can the Bulls do us right in this abusive relationship that we're in with this team and send us into the weekend feeling a little bit better about the relationship?
Can they? Yeah. I mean, at the bottom line of this, right? You're talking about 2 of the league's top scorers. You've got Devin Booker going up against DeMar DeRozan. You know that the offense is going to be there. I think Booker's ranking 10th right now in scoring, if I'm not mistaken on that. He's got about 26 points a game. And then DeMar's like 5th or 6th somewhere at 28, or just about. Listen, I round up on these mugs, 27.9. That's 28 points a game right there. On 28 points a game. But DeMar's been struggling a little bit to get his shot to fall. So it's going to be interesting to see how these two teams match up, especially when you're looking at a Suns team that is 29-8 at home. 29-8 at home. They're 5th in the league in scoring as well, with 114 points per game on 48% shooting from the field. This is not an easy win, y'all. This is not this is going to go the way we thought it was going to go. And the Bulls, as of recent, right, the Bulls had a really good record on the road. As of recent, they're now 16 for 18 on the road. So it's going to be a tough win here. It's going to be a tough get. I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you. I don't go into this game with a lot of confidence because I would have thought if you came out of any game with a ton of fire in your belly, it would have been the game after you get your head kicked in by one of the worst teams in the NBA.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we didn't see that. But you got to find a way to get wins. You got to find a way to dig deep, and defensively, you've got to find a way to get the job done in this. Y'all realize we're 3-7 over our last 10 games. We're 3-7 over our last 10 games. This is by far the worst stretch of our NBA season right now. And unfortunately, it comes at the worst time because it comes at the time where you need to be ramping up and getting ready for playoff basketball when a lot of the teams you're seeing in the playoffs are putting work on you. A lot of teams that aren't even close to the playoffs are putting in work on you. So now you have to figure out how to get the job done defensively against one of the best scorers in the NBA and somebody that legitimately can get the job done one-on-one. The one thing that I will say coming into this game that excites me and let me know, the way we saw Zach LaVine scoring in that last game gave me a little bit of hope on where what this Bulls team can do offensively, because they haven't shot the ball as well. I think they've only shot it. I think they've only had 109 points average over this stretch here. So, like, to me, you need to get the offense going, and Zach LaVine being on and aggressive helps with that. What are your thoughts on what Zach can do in this game coming into Phoenix, my boy?
Listen, Zach, I love the aggression that we saw from Zach. It sucked that it came in a loss, but if we get that version of Zach in a game like this, I give the Bulls a chance to win against anybody. We need the rest of the team to step up as well, but Zach is not the pressure that he puts on defenses, and I think Zach's been kind of, pedestrian isn't the right word because he's still been doing Zach LaVine things, but he's not been that version of himself for so long. I think very often we forget just how dangerous Zach is when he gets going, right?
Yeah.
DeMar's had an amazing season. And I know some people are like, well, who's the Bulls' actual best player? Whatever else. Listen, a locked in Zach LaVine is a bad man. And we need to
Mhm.
remember that because seeing him in that game, seeing the way that he moved around, that early in the season, even when DeMar was doing this thing, probably the first 15 games of the season before the thumb thing,
Mhm.
literally Zach started developing that. I know I can get off whenever I want to, so I'm gonna let DeMar cook. But best believe I'm gonna have 8 minute stretch in one of these quarters where can't nobody stop me from scoring. I'm going to get 12 on y'all. Stop
Right.
me if you want to. And I
Right.
think that we slowly got away from that. So Zach putting that pressure on another team's defense, it frees up everything else. Now we didn't take the correct advantage over because we didn't shoot. Everybody else didn't shoot the ball very well in that last game. If we can get better shooting paired with that version of Zach LaVine, the Bulls offensively are damn near unstoppable. Now it's the defense as well. Are the Bulls going to make enough stops defensively against a team? And I don't want to hear, I know some Bulls fans were like, oh, well, Chris Paul's going to be out. I saw this Phoenix team put up 140 points without Chris Paul.
Chris Paul's gonna be out. Okay, yeah, we stopping
Exactly.
him.
For a
That
Bulls
was the
team,
problem.
a Bulls team that our defense has failed us a lot lately. Now,
Yeah.
I do like the fact that on Booker, we can keep Alex Caruso, Io on Booker almost the whole game, see what Zach can do on him. And I honestly think I'd have to look up the splits, but I think Zach LaVine does a pretty good job guarding Devin Booker. Not great, but a pretty good job. But
I'd,
now that
I'd,
we have,
I'd have to look it up. I know. In that last game, Devin was giving him the business.
I may be thinking about God knows what, but
Hey, hey,
the fact
I
that we
know in that
still
I know in that last game, Devin was looking him in the eye, jab, step, Kobe bump, fade, pull up, jade in your face. I was like, good Lord, dog, don't let him do you like that, my boy.
let's see. I'm looking it up real quick. So in his career, they played 12 games against each other.
Yeah.
Devin Booker has averaged 21 points, 4 assists, and 2.8 rebounds in 12 games against Zach LaVine. Now, the last one, that was the one this season. That's the one that you're talking about. He scored 38 points on Zach. Yeah, so I was tripping.
Yeah,
So yeah, he gave Zach
he
LaVine
put
the
his
business.
foot in you know what, dog. Yeah. Yeah. He
So
wasn't
yeah,
playing.
yeah.
And this is the
I
thing
retract
about
what I'm not right all the time. I was wrong there.
hey, it's okay. Players mess up, dog. No, this is the thing to me about this Bulls team, right? This is the thing, or not the Bulls team, this Suns team. We're talking about the scoring, right? Over the last 10 games, they've averaged 120 points just about per game.
Yeah.
This Suns team ain't just offense. You're not looking at a Suns team that is going to be a cakewalk to come in here and score. In that same span, they've averaged 8.5 steals a game and 5 blocks. This Suns team is very good defensively. Their opponents, hey, guess what? What we're averaging in our last 10 is what their opponents have averaged, and they've scored 10 more points than that. So now it's about what can you, like you said, what can you do defensively to stop what they want to do offensively? And I tell you what, this ain't the team to leave wide open for corner threes because their role players are good at knocking them down with a hand in their face.
Definitely.
And at the end of the day, dog, if campaign torch y'all, man, I got nothing left, bro.
If campaign goes off on the Chicago Bulls, man,
bro.
listen, listen, emotionally, I don't know where I'm going to be. I'm going to be in a very dark place. But
I might cry.
The Phoenix Suns rank 3rd in overall offensive rating in the NBA and 2nd in overall defensive rating in the NBA.
Yeah.
This is going to be a tough game. Now, do want to talk about this. We haven't mentioned this, and I know we got a few minutes before we gotta move on to the next topic. But is Nikola Vucevic the key in this game, and can he do anything against him?
I think that Vooch is always the key to me, and the Bulls have, to me, they've struggled to use him in a consistent way that benefits them. Now in the last game, very different, right? The last game, I came in here, I said Vooch need to be shooting them. I don't care if he's making them or not. Shoot threes because it's going to get Rudy Gobert out of the paint. And for the most part, it did. It worked. Rudy's kind of playing out. He's coming back. Now, granted, listen, his man had 20 rebounds. Like, he was down there. But at a minimum, you got Vooch standing outside. He's getting open shots. He's getting open looks and trying to pull Rudy as Rudy's closing out. Okay. I can live with you taking threes. Like, I like that game plan because they're going to try to keep the stifle tower down there. But to me, Vooch's vision is what is underutilized on this team.
Huge.
When Vooch is cooking, think back to that Cleveland game when Vooch was cooking. You throw the ball down to Vooch. Vooch is down low. You saw 3 people come to Vooch, and he's just kicking it out to wide open people outside. Now, the thing we never give credit to Vooch on is when he makes a pass and somebody's wide open and they miss the ball or they miss the shot because they missed the shot, not because Vooch threw a bad pass, but Trey Vooch. That's everybody's conversation.
You mentioned feeling good. Let's talk about our next sponsor, which is definitely helping me feel good. Athletic Greens. Now, if I told you that 1 scoop of Athletic Greens in 16 ounces of water can give you 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens. Listen, I said this last time. I still don't know what the hell that word means, but I know it's good for you. Now, with all that said, if you need more energy, Athletic Greens got you covered. It gives you more energy, and it's better for you than that cup of coffee. Listen, we've been on a West Coast trip. I know a lot of Bulls fans have been doing everything they can to stay up later. Athletic Greens got you covered when it comes to that. So right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with the convenient daily nutrition that's offered by Athletic Greens. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/NBA Network. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/NBA Network to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance.
This is the time of year where most people have pretty much given up on their New Year's resolutions, right? But not this year. I'm sticking to my resolution to eat right. And thanks to Built Bar, it almost feels like it's not really a resolution because I'm actually enjoying eating. Now listen, y'all got to understand something, right? They got this thing called puffs. Have you tried the puffs? If you haven't, you're missing out. Built Bars has the best tasting bars, and the puffs are the first ever protein infused marshmallows, y'all. Marshmallows, fluffy. They're marshmallows. They're not just a protein bar, and they are a treat that are covered in 100% real chocolate. The puffs are a fan favorite with some incredible flavors. Yummy, cinnamony, churro. I want y'all to hear that. Yummy, cinnamony, churro, coconut marshmallow, banana cream pie. These are going to be your new favorite treats. All Built Bars are covered in 100% milk chocolate. Yes, puffs included 100% milk chocolate. And this is the thing. It's low calorie, high protein. It'll replace the candy bar. And they are better because a typical candy bar can have anywhere between 200 and 300 calories in that mug, man. Most Built Bars only contain 130 calories, 4 grams of sugar, 4 net carbs, and 17 grams of protein. So come on now. It's not even hard. Let's talk about the offer code here, right? Because at Built Bar, they are built about taste. They make it taste delicious first, and then they figure out how to make it healthy. I don't know about y'all, but they pull it off every time. So here's the offer. Go to Built.com, use the promo code LOCKED15 to get 15% off your order. Once again, use the promo code LOCKED15 to get 15% off of your order at Built.com. Your taste buds will thank you.
There you go.
I don't know why I threw the mic like that. Like I was like it was done. Like
that's how you do an ad read, people.
Yeah,
so one of the traditions of Locked On Bulls that we have not yet incorporated into the show is the mailbag. So I'm very excited that we are doing our first mailbag today, Pat. We got 2 voicemails and 1 text that we're going to get off today. Let's go ahead and get into them right now. Let's do it.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Oswaldo from Aurora. Big fan of Locked On Bulls. I'm excited to have you guys take over from Matt Peck. And I just have a question for you. So my question is about the playoffs. Let's just say that the Bulls are 100% healthy. I mean, we haven't been all year, but let's just say we are 100% healthy. Every single person is healthy. What do you think is the best lineup, the best starting lineup to compete and move on to the second round? So what are you thinking? Do you think you start I mean, that power forward position is the one I'm curious about more than anything. That power forward, and who's going to be who's coming off our bench as well? I'm just thinking, because we'll have Caruso, we'll have Kobe White, we'll have Ayo. I mean, are those three guys going to come off the bench at the same time? I'm just curious what your take is on what the best option for us to get out of the first round of the playoffs and move on to the second round. All right. Hope to hear from you soon. Have a great day and keep on making Locked On Bulls a great podcast to listen to. All right. Thanks again.
All right. What? So you asked a couple of things there, just to kind of get it down and compact it. What is our best starting lineup, and then what does that bench rotation look like in the playoffs? I think is basically what he's asking there. Pat, what do you think is our best lineup, and who do you want to see coming off the bench in the playoffs?
100% healthy. Our best lineup's the lineup we wanted to see. Lonzo,
true.
Zach, DeMar, P. Will, Vooch. As crazy as it may sound, even with a rookie who's probably going to be coming off of the bench for a little bit of time, just to get him back in there and try to get the feel on it. Your best option defensively on the floor needs to be the 6'7" guy with the 7-foot wingspan that can cause some problems for some power forwards out here that can play the pick and roll. That's not going to get cooked every time the pick and roll comes. What that does to your bench, though, is bolster your bench. You still got Caruso coming off the bench. Now you send Ayo Dosunmu back to the bench, who has been starting for just about most of a little over half. What is he? 20,
About 30 games in
about
now.
30 games, about 30 games. So close to half, who's been starting long enough to get the knowledge and has started against many a good point guard, many a great point guard in this NBA. And yeah, he's gotten cooked sometimes, but you know what? That happens when you're going up against these starting guys. Guess what? You're going to have the opportunity now for Ayo Dosunmu to play backup point guards again. I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all about to get cooked. Have fun with that. Like, he's going to be clamping y'all. So, like, having that with Ayo, Kobe, bolstering your bench now with Tristan. You've still got Caruso, whether P. Will's off of the bench or Javonte's off of the bench. You've got that defensive intensity as well. I think this Bulls team is actually set up to win at a minimum in the first round and have a competitive second round no matter who we play. And it's going to be interesting to see what they actually do with it.
All facts. Agree with every single thing that you said. I really don't have much to add there because I agree with that. And I think especially I look at Javonte in certain playoff series, he's going to be an X factor off the bench because what he's been able to do this season, the fact that we know Javonte can guard anywhere between 1 and down to the 4 and do it all pretty well. You get out work lengthwise sometimes. So I'm really excited to see what that looks like, having Javonte come off the bench, how that changes the dynamic. But our key starting five is everything that you said. Caruso, Ayo off the bench, with some Tristan Thompson. I think those are going to be, and Kobe White. That's going to be your main 4 off the bench there. And throw in some Javonte there too. I think that's going to be it. I honestly think, as much as I love Derrick Jones Jr., we may see him not really get very many minutes in the playoffs, just because all those other players have been there longer. They're kind of more proven, and I think Javonte brings an X factor, whereas Derrick Jones Jr. really doesn't.
It's going to be crazy to see, right? But because to me, like, do you start the 6'4" dude at power forward, or do you play the 6'4" dude off of the bench at power forward again, or do you run out there with the dude that's actually got a little bit of size and length to him like that? It's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be based on the matchup, like you said.
Definitely. All right, let's get into this next one. This next one's from the 312. He did not leave his name, but let's go ahead and get into this one now.
What's up, Haize? Congratulations on a new opportunity, man. Been listening to you when you were on Chicago Bulls Central. And I got a question. Don't crucify me again. But AD, Chi-Town raised, born and raised. He's playing with the Lakers. How about we trade Levine over to LA for AD? With AD being available possibly for trade this offseason, would it be far-fetched to acquire AD and maybe the Lakers send some more talent over, in exchange for our boy Levine?
Okay, listen here. No, the Bulls aren't trading Zach LaVine for Anthony Davis. Come on, listen. I understand Anthony Davis is from Chicago. I understand all that. I understand the idea of bringing the hometown kid home. Look, let me tell you this. I'm gonna say this now, and I'm gonna leave it here, and I'm gonna let Pat take it over because I feel like Pat is gonna go off even more than I do. Love you. Hey, thank you for sending in the voicemail. Thank you for supporting the podcast. But Mr. Glass, I know he's from Chicago, but a Chicago winner will literally break AD's legs in 10 different places all at the same time. He will walk into the United Center in the middle of December and fall down, and his ankle will be at his ear. No, that is not going to happen. I do not want to see it happen. I'm sorry. The time for AD on Chicago for me has passed. It's not a conversation for me. But Pat, how do you feel about it?
I'm gonna go get my stuff to crucify him real quick because what are we talking about? I need y'all to understand, right? I need y'all to understand the player that y'all feel like doesn't have the IQ, doesn't have the ability, can't get the job done. First off, we're talking about Anthony Day-to-Day Davis. Shout out to Baki. 37 games he's played this season. 37 games he's played this season. And yeah, when he's on the court, he's very effective. Yes, he's a bucket. He's shooting it like 53% from the field. But you know what? You know what the best ability on the court is? Availability. If you're not available, I can't use you. And Anthony Davis just hasn't been available. Now, has Zach LaVine been available for all of these games? No. But he's been available for more times than not. And at a minimum right now, when I need him, he's here. You know how much he's here? He's playing through injury right now to be here. And I want y'all to understand what kind of player y'all give up. Y'all are essentially, and not specifically everybody in Bulls Nation, but a good chunk of Bulls Nation that y'all want to give up on, right? What is the magic stat line for basketball players? What's that magic stat line you want to get? The 50, 40, 90. That is the epitome of a great player in the NBA. The player y'all want to give up on right now, shooting 48.2%, 39.6%, and 86.1%. 48, 39, 86. I want y'all to understand how close that is. That's within a half a shot of being a 50, 40, 90 player. Now, of course, you got to get there for them stats to be a 50, 40, 90 player. But when you have somebody that close, you don't say, let me trade him away for a dude that might be able to play. I don't deal in mights. I don't deal in ifs. Right now, the fact that Zach LaVine says, yeah, my knee hurts. Yeah, this sucks. I'm going to go out here and I'm going to play every night for the city of Chicago. Put some respect on Zach's name. We're really talking about trading Zach LaVine. Zach LaVine is going to get the Supermax, and I'm not going to lie to y'all. I'm going to laugh at everybody who's ready to stop being a Bulls fan because he does.
Preach. Listen, I need another sound effect on the board. Just the pastor saying, that's what I need. Because yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. The Jamaican horn. Absolutely. I'm gonna have to get that on there. But yeah, echo everything Pat said on that one. Y'all gotta listen. I know it's not everyone. I know it's not all of Bulls Nation, but anyone who's saying, I'm gonna address all this, and I'm not gonna talk about it again into the offseason. Zach LaVine is getting the max. I'm not going to talk about if he deserves it. Super max? Okay, we can talk about that. Zach LaVine is at least getting the max. Period. Yeah. It's happening. If you don't want it to happen, oh well, get over it. It's happening. Zach LaVine is not being traded. We're not getting AD for anybody. It's not happening. So let's move on, just like everybody else needs to. Let's get into this last one that we got. We're going into the mailbag. One more. This is a text from Rashawn, and I'm going to read it right now. Bulls fan from Long Island, New York. I once heard someone say that Billy Donovan is this team's version of what Doug Collins was for the Bulls back then. I pretty much agree. He's no doubt a great coach, but I don't think he'll be the one to coach the team over the hump. What do you think about that, Pat?
I gotta see. You know what I'm saying? Like Doug Collins got the opportunity to play out. Doug Collins got the opportunity, and y'all got to understand, Doug Collins' coaching debut was the Bulls. Head coaching debut was the Bulls. So he was learning on the job. Billy Donovan knows what the heck he's doing already.
Yeah.
Billy Donovan knows how to be a head coach. Billy Donovan knows how to coach in the playoffs. Now, has it bred to a championship? No, but I want y'all to understand this very, very carefully. There's a reason Monty Williams was crying when they lost in the finals last year, because getting to the NBA championship is hard. We've gotten into this day and age where, like, we've seen the same people win so much that's the benchmark. If you don't have multiple rings, or you don't have multiple finals appearances, or you don't have, like, you're not good at your job. And that's just not how logic works. Like, sometimes you get beat by a better team. You know what team it took to beat Billy Donovan? Or you know what it took to beat Billy Donovan in the playoffs 2 years ago? A rookie not realizing that his center was wide open underneath the bucket. If Shai Gilgeous realizes that Steven Adams is wide open and no one's defending him and makes that pass, the Oklahoma City Thunder advance and they put the Houston Rockets out of the playoffs. So, like, it's gonna be to me, Billy Donovan is a coach that knows how to coach. He tells you what's going on. He's not sugarcoating none of this. And he's actually trying to do things to put the players in a position to succeed. That's a good head coach. Now, I don't know if he gets you to a championship, but I don't think that the barometer should be, oh, you're the guy that didn't get us there before we got the guy that got us 6. If Billy does become that guy, Billy becomes that guy. But let's let him play out his Bulls coaching career, and let's see what that becomes.
This is a fact. Well, that's it. Pat, I got nothing left for today. You got anything left on your heart, mind, soul, anything to get off before we go to the weekend?
Do not let campaign. Be competitive. If you lose the game, be competitive, right? Just don't let campaign get off, dog.
Listen, campaign better not get off, man. He better not get off. But go ahead and give him your social media, Pat. Let's get up out of here, bro.
Hey, man, follow me on everything at Path the Designer, PATTHEDESIGNER. Yes, I did go to public school, but they taught me a little bit of something, man. We ain't doing that DA. What's good with it? Also, follow us on everything at Locked On Bulls.
Absolutely. You can follow me at CEO Haize, at CEO Haize. That is our second week in the book of being the new host of Locked On Bulls. It's been a great run so far. I'm glad. I know it took 2 weeks, but we got the mailbag back up and running. So make sure that you guys are also leaving your voicemails there so that we can continue to interact with you guys, because guess what? We love you.
I really do love y'all, Bulls Nation.
But that is it for us this week. We will see you guys bright and early on Monday again. That's it.
Who beefing with us next week, man? JV in the building. What's good?
Yeah, hey, JV with a dub. Peace, y'all.